I think we're live. Hi, good evening. Welcome to the IBD Ostomy Support Show. I'm Louise, aka Crohn's Fighting, and welcome to tonight's show. So I was just waiting for people to say, "Oh, it's a bit quiet." I think you're normally the first one on, Graham. That's right.
Yeah, Graham, we're used to you being this.
Yeah, only the first one on. Sandy's just popped up. Jamie says, "Hi, everyone." Hi, Jamie. So tonight on the show, we are going to be covering body image and bullying and trolling online. This isn't aimed at anyone specifically. It's just as a general whole, because obviously there's been the young lad that was 10 that committed suicide due to being bullied by his peers at school. And I think I've just in general seen a load of trolling online recently. I know there's been a couple of ostomates that have obviously had articles put out and they've been picked up by other companies and not just the newspapers that have published those articles. And some of the trolling and some of the comments across it, especially one of the ones I saw, if it was on Lad Bible, is absolutely disgusting. We're also covering body image because that seems to be a bit more of a hot topic at the moment. So what have I been up to? Where do I start? It's just been a busy month for me in general. January going through to February always is, because January I get everybody wanting their tax returns done last minute. Then come February, I've got everybody querying about something, or they haven't filed it and now they're late and they're going to get fined. Not my problem. They should have had it in before the 31st. And I've just been busy in general, posting up on social media a bit more frequently. I had hospital today, come out of that gastro appointment. I might have had a slight pop at my gastro team, just purely for the fact that they just leave me to it. Apart from the immunosuppressants, they put me on immunosuppressants, and rather than see me in clinic on a regular basis, they think it's just better that I get dealt with surgically, which isn't always right. I've been having issues sort of the last 6-7 months. I've got to go in and have 2 MRIs. I've got to have a pelvic MRI and I've got to have a small bowel MRI, because they think there's a possibility that due to indications on my bloods and a few other things that have been going on, that I might have fistulas or something in my pelvis. I don't think it's that. I just think it's where my uterus is tilted back. But my inflammation markers are raised on my bloods, which, being on immunosuppressants where they've been at near enough a negative, they're now at, they're steadily creeping up with every blood test that I have. So that's got to be checked. I've been referred to a rheumatologist because I keep having problems with my jaw, my hands, my hips and my feet. It's I just haven't got the muscle strength that I used to have. I'll be holding a cup and I'll just literally drop the cup and my hand will get stuck. And I keep having instances in the day where all of a sudden it'll just come over and I have sharp shooting pains going all up and down the side of my jaw and my hips, and I can't move. It's like the whole thing is just literally paralyzed and I can't move anything. So yeah, I'm going to see rheumatology for that one. So that should be fun and dandy. I wonder if it happens when I drive. That would be fun. It's a good thing I can drive with both hands, really, isn't it? And not just a dominant hand. For any of you that are, I was about to say Welsh-based. For any of you that are based in Wales, if any of you are near Swansea next Wednesday, Pelican are holding a open day at Liberty Stadium, 11 till 3. So yeah, come and see us there. And I've just been busy. And today is also, is it this week's Time to Talk, isn't it, for mental health?
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think it is. Yeah, it is. It's Time to Talk. So I'll hand over to Rachel. That's my ramblings over with.
Thank you, Louise. Hi, I'm Rachel, aka Rocking Two Stomas. I apologise. I'm really, really exhausted. I'm really tired. I'm hoping I can stay awake for the hour, but I kind of thought, I didn't want to cancel. And last week I had a cold, and actually it was more like flu. And then I still went to London because I thought I could push through it because I'm me. And then I got really poorly. And then on the way back, I went to GP and then actually got pneumonia. But she was quite impressed how early I caught it, considering it's me, and usually I end up in hospital. And I managed to stay out of hospital. So I've been on like antibiotics, 2 lots of antibiotics, and I've been on steroids. Now, I know it's a really short course. It was 5 days of prednisolone, But my God, it's given me a slight insight into your lives when you were on it for like 400 tablets and everything else. And like, I think I have been on steroids, but when I've been in hospital, and I don't really notice a difference. And when I had pneumonia 6 years ago, I had intensive care, I had steroids then. But I noticed that I was just absolutely starving. Like, I never had hunger pains like it. And I kind of remember what all you guys were saying. And I just thought, wow, I've had a slight insight. You know, obviously I don't have IBD, but a slight insight into having steroids. And I was talking to Steve, and I said to him, you know, about it, and he just said, you know, you're lucky you've got it 5 days. We had to do like ridiculous number of tablets and go down like 400 tablets in like a 10-week period or something. And I was like, wow, yeah, it kind of really put things into perspective. I always knew that, you know, you see pictures and you guys talk about the devil pills and how, you know, and it kind of, I had this really slight insight. So yeah, I put my hat off to you all, because it's caused problems with my prolapse. So we talked earlier, don't know whether because of the water during the water, taking on the water, my prolapse wouldn't go in for 3 hours. It was literally like I was carrying it like this, thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go to hospital like this. I couldn't get it back in. So that was a little bit frustrating. I think because I've had this cough, I've been coughing a lot, and I think that hasn't helped. The hernia and prolapse have got bigger. So yeah, and I did a talk yesterday for Born, which is the British Urological Nurses, and I feel quite raw today, because it was a really the talk was about my female sexual dysfunction and my secret journey. So I've had issues around it due to the way organs have been removed and surgery that's happened, and I've never been able to talk about it to my medical professionals. And so the talk yesterday was mentioned that so many nurses do, or this in particular with urology nurses, to start the conversation first and to kind of them to bring it up with us, because you can't always rely on somebody who I'm quite open, and I advocate for myself, for others, but I can't bring this up with my medical team that this is an issue. And so yesterday it went down really, really well, but I've left feeling quite I got quite tearful, because it was two aspects of it. It's the first time really in a talk like I nearly cried, because I felt the passion, and I also felt the kind of pain with what I was talking about. But it is an honour to be asked to speak, because I think of the girl I was 2 years ago, before this show started, where I didn't have any friends who had a stoma. I had no blog. I was like just stuck in my room. I had no purpose and no life. And now actually I have got purpose, and I am doing good stuff, and it feels good. But I am still the constant battle of balancing. So it's getting there. I just want to give a shout out to Steve, because he's not on tonight because he's looking after Harley, but he will be back in 2 weeks when we're back on. And I will leave it there. Pass you to Graham.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Well, what's been happening with me the last few weeks? 3 weeks post-op from the Botox. That's only just kicking in now. So that's been a rough time. I had a catheter in for a week, and then since it came out, I was having problems. And I know in the past that the bladder leaks for the first few days, but it's been lasting longer this time. So I found that a little bit distressing, but we're getting there, and it's slowly improving. But as soon as I get over this one, I'm now looking ahead at my next one, which is in about 7 weeks' time. So it's just a vicious circle, really. I was at my GP today. I've been having problems with my foot again. I've got a history of keep breaking my feet, and my left one I broke 3 years ago, and it needed major surgery on it, and it's never been the same. And it was only just last week I got up and I felt something, and it's just got worse ever since. And I was at physio last week, and he examined it, and he wasn't sure what was going on, but it was quite swollen, and he didn't know whether to send us for an x-ray or not, because I had an x-ray just before Christmas on it when I felt the same pain. But he decided it was best not to, probably because they wouldn't give us one because of too much radiation. Because I also had an x-ray last week on my spine, after seeing my spine specialist, who I see once every 2 years. So that you didn't want us to expose us to any more radiation just yet. So he's referred us to another team, and these will decide whether I need an MRI scan to see what's actually going on, whether it's a break or is it tissue damage or is it an underlying problem. So I'm waiting to hear about that. It's affected me walking quite a lot, and I've been referred to have an assessment for an electric wheelchair for when I'm outside, because my walking's just deteriorated in the last 12 months, and I do struggle even with my walking stick now. So I've got that coming up, but one of the criteria to get the wheelchair is I've got to use it indoors, but I don't use one indoors. I can get around holding on to things. So we're in talks about that, of how we can get around it. But apart from that, I'm just getting on with everything that's thrown at us. And that's me, literally.
That's okay. Sorry, there's just a slight awkward moment of silence there.
You fallen asleep on us?
No, I haven't fallen asleep. I'm trying to reply to the chat because the chat is getting busier and busier. The chat is getting busier and busier every time we do the show now, and I'm trying to listen and reply on the chat and do. So my brain, I might not look like I'm not listening, but I am listening. I just happen to be intently trying to listen and process what's going through, whilst also processing what I'm typing out from my brain and making sure that I don't swear. So now I think, I don't know, what should we cover first? Shall we cover the bullying and the trolling, or shall we cover body image? Because I don't know, which one should we cover first?
Louise, I can only see half your face.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, that's it. Because I can just see like literally like that.
Yes, because I keep doing this.
Yeah, you keep hiding.
I keep doing like the little pop-ups, like hello. Over the fence.
Yeah. Hi.
Okay, so what should we cover first? We've got trolling, or we've got body
Should we
image?
go into trolling, because like we've already had quite, not so much trolling, but we've had quite a few comments already.
Yeah. So I think I don't know. I think in this day and age of being able to hide behind a keyboard or a phone or an anonymous screen name helps those that wish to be complete and utter evil. I can't swear, it's before 9 o'clock, and I can't use that word in public either. So those that like to just literally, it's like saying something in a room and just dropping the mic and walking out and just leaving like the free-for-all to happen once you've walked out. I think that is the way that you could maybe say that is what trolling is like. So somebody will literally think of the worst thing that they can put and they can say, and they'll literally, right, I've dropped the mic, off you go, let's see what can happen,
it all unfold.
And watch it all unfold. And the thing is with trolling and bullying, it is so hurtful. And I think within the ostomy community, especially, the more and more public awareness that is being raised, in my general opinion, I don't think it doesn't matter how you word something or how you do it or how positive you are with regards to things like newspapers, social media, anything like that, anything that is going to gain an interest is somehow painted in a negative light. And then that negative light is then painted onto small, bigoted, small-minded people that have peas for brains, and they can't see the bigger picture. So their version is, you've got a shit bag attached to you. That's disgusting. That's horrible. You're a horrible person. I hope you die. These are some of the comments that I have seen in the last week with regards to a couple of young women that have posted articles within the media, so not actually on social media, but they've done like articles with, say, Wales Online was one, Annie Jenkins. There was another girl who had a story written because she said about posing in her ostomy bag and about how it's not destroying her body confidence, and to her having an ostomy is normal. Yet some of the comments that have been made by small-minded individuals is absolutely disgusting. It even happened in the Crohn's and Colitis UK group. One of the articles that had pushed up, there were still people bullying underneath it, and it's in a help. It's in a group that's meant to help people, for crying out loud.
I don't know if you guys will remember. I don't think you will, and I don't really openly talk about it. So when I first started my blog in 2017, Louise,
it was.
So January 2017, I started my blog, and there's quite a lot of interest. And then I got contacted by the BBC Wales to write an art to be interviewed. So I was interviewed about having 2 stomas, having a urostomy and ileostomy, because there isn't much in the media about urostomies. And it was a really good interview, and I got what I wanted to get out of it. And the article was a good article. It was BBC Wales, good article. Right. So that was fine. The comments I got, I didn't get hardly any negative comments, and it went down really well. However, good old Daily Mail got the BBC article. Honestly, I was fuming, and this is before I found you guys. Got the BBC article, rehashed it. Title was "Woman Forced to Wear 2 stoma bags Due to Food Poisoning." Right. Completely that's not stoma positive in what I'm all about. Mm-hmm. Then took my images off my social media of me in hospital. The story was pretty much completely wrong. It was although it was positive, it was like no, that's what it was. Woman poses nude because she's forced to wear 2 stoma bags. And I was absolutely devastated, not only because they took my article and rewrote it, but actually the comments underneath. And the comments, it got to a point where there were some really positive comments, and I got a lot of engagement, and a lot of people contacted me, and loads of people with 2 stomas. And that's one of the reasons why I started the double bagger group, because I realized that it wasn't just me with 2, there's loads of us out there. So actually it was a positive thing, but the negative and some really mean, and my mum was really upset, but it got to a point where I had to say to myself, right, Rachel, don't read anymore. Don't read the comments, because it was that kind of. And I've had quite a few other articles that have gone out in different veins, and now I just don't really. I read the positive, and if I get any negative, I just kind of don't really acknowledge it. Or kind of when I did a post in my bikini and it went viral, I had a few negatives there, but the majority were okay. And if I do get negatives, I try not to focus, because it's their stuff, not ours. Because at the end of the day, if we offend a few people, think of how many people we are helping just by being open and honest and showing that actually our lives are better and you can still live life. And some people choose death rather than have either a poo bag or a wee bag or whatever, because they're too afraid. And that's what we are trying to stop. So although it's awful, the trolling and the bullying, I think as awareness gets more, we're not going to be able to stop that. But it's how we whenever there's diversity in our group, whenever there's something massive, like that young boy hanging himself, we pull together. That's something really we pull together as a community, and we get everybody through it, because everybody was devastated. We didn't know that boy, but we all felt an emotional time. We felt that absolutely distraught for the family, for him, and we all pulled together, and then we all shared pictures. And I think that's what's really wonderful about our community. Yeah, like any community where we're in the diversity, we're different. We're going to have people that are going to make comments, but it's how we deal with it. And I think, I think Annie in particular dealt with it amazingly, and the other girls have, and I think it gets to a point where you decide not to read anymore, because even if you've helped one person, that's what I wanted for my blog, to help one person, and I've done my job. Yep. Regardless if I got 99 negatives, I've helped that one person feel like they're not alone.
But Rachel, do you not think, just paint this in a different light? So that little boy was 10 years old, and he was being bullied by his peers. So he was being bullied by children that the mother raised issues with. All the kids got pulled in, got disciplined, and they still went back and done it. And tormented that little boy. Now, if that is children being raised by adults, and the adults are washing it under the carpet and just letting it go, what hope do future generations have if all of this is so normalised, and you can't even get people penalised for trolling and for threatening people and using disgusting, vile language. Do you not think that there should? Sorry, Alana's just popped in as well because I know that there's a bit short.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
You look all snuggly. Can I join you?
I literally went into Asda tonight and I seen these dressing gowns on sale and I was like, oh, there's a gown.
She's also just woken up and seen the SOS I sent her 7.
Fill me in. So what have I missed? What's
sorry,
the
Alana, you've just walked in. Obviously, we're talking about trolling and bullying online, just as a general whole, because obviously the young boy that died, the 10-year-old, and I was just saying that along the lines of that 10-year-old was being bullied by his peers. Those peers got pulled in and had it discussed with them, and the parents had it discussed, and yet the peers still went back and bullied that boy and tormented him. But I was just saying, what sort of hope do we have? Whereas if trolling and bullying is just so socially accepted in this day and age, and people can get away with being keyboard warriors, is this something that's going to be dealt with, do you think, in the later years, or do you think it's just something that could continue to either stay as it is or get worse?
Well, I think it's one of these things that it comes hand in hand, doesn't it? When you're on social media, you'll get the good with the bad, and vice versa. But I do think it is something that needs to be worked on a bit more. I think they need to be a bit more strict on these sort of things, to prevent things like this happening to anybody of any age. I think, and it can happen to anybody, and like even in a social setting, or it could be on social media where it's somebody that or it's literally just a stranger that's come in, has had a bad day, and decided, I'm gonna have a go at this person, and that's just what happens. It's not nice, but it does.
But it must have been so bad for him to take his own life.
Definitely, it must have been pretty bad.
It must have been really
I think the other thing. I think the other thing that amazes me as well, though, is where did a 10-year-old get an idea to go and do that?
I think we must keep in mind that we don't know the whole story. Like, I don't know if you've seen, loads of people said because he had a stone bag, but actually when you read more about the article, Ostomy Connection wrote a good article about it. In fact, he had a reversal and he was having accidents. And actually, I think there's a lot more to the story that we maybe don't quite know.
Yeah.
I think it's I think we sort of took bits and then actually more of it. So I think it doesn't matter what the story is. It's happened, and I feel be it that much pain to do that at that young age is just absolutely devastating, and for the family. But I think we have to be mindful that there is a large story there that we don't quite know about. And I think Ostomy Connection touched on that because they wrote about that did have a reversal and isn't just down to the stoma, but it's at the end of the day it's all relatable. It's kind of
it is all relatable.
It's what we've all kind of talked about, that invisible illnesses. It kind of links into all of that.
It's like Nathan. Oh, sorry. It's like Nathan's just put on the chat. He said, I think they should be educated in school about ostomies. I offered to go into my local school and talk about it, and they refused.
Why was that, Nathan?
I think all of Maisie's year 4 class know about stomas because she wasn't even about it. She do know my mummy's got a stoma. I'm going in for parents' evening. Maisie, I'm going in for parents' evening. Just be quiet.
My local school, I was meant to do a talk on IBD a few years ago, but obviously I'm just waiting to be accepted now via paperwork to be a volunteer for Colostomy UK. So I'm hoping that maybe alongside with them and the school and maybe hopefully my GP practice, we can get a bit more, talking about it and educating, maybe leaflets and things so that people do understand, more locally as well.
Colostomy UK, I have to say, have been fantastic, particularly in kind of I've done the kind of as you guys know, as Louise is here so much, and Lana and Graham, correlation, and I talk about urostomy, the correlation with the forgotten stoma. But Colostomy UK really helped support me with the research, and they are a brilliant charity, and they really, they do help. There are loads of really great charities out there, but Colostomy, they helped me in particular with the urostomy stuff, and then we got all the balls coming up soon. Remember, we've got Get Your Belly Out.
I know.
You've also got me and Alana stripping off
Yeah, I'm gonna have to both put fundraise. I'm gonna have to put money for both of you. I can't wait to see those calendars. It'd be great.
Do you know how difficult it is to find an underwear set when you have boobs like I've got, and trying to keep everything respectful? I will not mention what I spent to try and keep everything covered up.
I'll put you a link after the show of a good website to go to. They do free measuring if you've got a store next to you as well.
I had a load of people recommend Pour Moi in the end, so I've used them.
What was that?
It's Pour Moi. P-O-U-R.
You said something else.
No, I thought you said you thought I said Pour Moi. You know, I think Graham's blushing. He gets a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh no.
Yeah, Pour Moi. No, it's Pour Moi. So
if Steve was here, he would have bought it way lower.
Yeah, so it was P-O-U-R-M-O-I, but I use them because they do like the slightly larger girl shorts, so like the lacy shorts, but the nice ones that come up a bit further, just purely of, you know, sort of moving on to body image and getting away from the negatives of trolling and bullying, is that I have stretch marks everywhere, years on and off steroids, weight gain, severe weight loss, operations. My body is just riddled with stretch marks. I don't mind the scars. I think it's the stretch marks that bug me more than anything else. But where I've had plastic surgery, so where I've had adenoplasty several times because I've had to have abscesses scraped out, then I've had mesh put in, mesh taken out, mesh put back in, and then I've had another operation. What they've done is where they've pulled all the loose skin away and pulled my tummy down, where all my stretch marks used to be faded, it's sort of just made them more prominent going down the front. So obviously where the skin's been pulled down, that's then stretched the stretch marks back out. So all the ones like around my hips and stuff, they have all faded, but I just always feel that like this bit here is always just a bit more, you can see it. It doesn't matter what I do. I don't filter my photos just purely because body image, especially in the world of ostomy, like Rachel doesn't use filters. Putting yourself out as what you really are is something that people are looking for, is inspiration more than filtering everything and trying to hide everything that is wrong with your body.
Can I just say, your picture you put out a couple of days ago, Louise, was really like, I don't use these words, as you know, lightly, brave, inspirational. I struggle with them. But I looked at it on Instagram and Facebook and I thought, yeah, go on. Like, you know, what you put about stretch marks and it was a really good post, and I think not just for people with stomas, like generally, like
like women in general. Well, women and men get stretch marks, don't they?
And I think like, it was just it. I think I didn't realize that, you know, it was, you could tell that you didn't enhance it. It was just how it is, and you just had surgery. And I think it was like, it was a really, I would say, brave post, and it was a good post, and it seemed it went down well. And I think that's the kind of reality is we have to learn. I know I have had to learn, like, I realised I never really loved myself. I've never loved my body. So before I got ill, I tried, and I wrote an article, I wrote a blog post, like a letter to my body. And I noticed that I used to like starve it. I wanted bigger boobs, smaller hips, everything else. And actually I got ill. And then I realised I had to learn, not only do you have to kind of learn the new body image with stomas, but I had to learn to love myself, because I don't think I ever did. And actually that's hard to go back to kind of where you were, like realizing that you've never really loved yourself, and then you've now got 1 or 2 bags on you, loads of scars, everything else, you're still poorly, and then you've got to learn to kind of love. So for me, I would say, like, going back to get down the kind of body confidence, for me, affirmations were absolute key, and I've written loads of blog posts about it. For me, affirmations really helped. And when I first got told you've got to stand in front of that mirror and say, Rachel, I love and adore myself, I thought, yeah, right, okay. What are you talking about? I love myself. And then it grew to, like, you know, I appreciate my body. I love my body. And do you know what? I have to say, like, it's worked, because I have respect for my body now that I never, ever had even before I got ill. Yeah, I've got an 8-inch prolapse, which is massive. So I get times where I think, I get the negative thinking, but I try to reframe it and actually find gratitude helps in that. But it's been a journey. It's been I've had my ileostomy nearly 7 years, my urostomy 3 years. It's taken me a long time to kind of accept my body. Some people get it straight away, some people take longer. some people it's a slow process, but for me, it has been a slow journey of accepting. And I find sometimes gratitude helps with that body image thing. In like, you know, what was I like before the bags? I was like, I had suprapubic catheter, that was horrific, and I had peristem irrigation, and I was like 6 stone. I was housebound. So when I compare it, and it's like, actually, okay, I'm more of a woman now than I was back then. Like many of us were when we had our stomas. Most of us were moles.
It's like I think prior to Maisie, I think I took my body for granted. I was always a skinny mini. I could eat whatever I wanted to eat, or I used to gain a bit of weight whenever they stuck me on the pred. But the minute I come off the pred, my weight would drop back down, and I'd go back to my usual size, sort of 10, no stretch marks, no issues. But I had a fistula, so from the age of 18 to the age of 24, I could never show my stomach or even wear a bikini in public, because I always had a stoma bag covering the fistula on my belly button, because that was the... When I think about the amount of output that used to come out of that fistula, it's not too dissimilar from having a bloody stoma now, to be perfectly honest with you. But that really impacted my body confidence and my body image, because I have rather not vague, rather vivid recollections of getting told by my other half at the time that he was lucky and he knew that I would never leave him because nobody else would have me because I had fistulas.
Well, that's a lie, isn't it?
Then I had a stoma. So he was safe in the knowledge that I would never cheat on him or do the dirty, because no other man would want to see that. Now, when I think about some of the stick I get from my Instagram account these days, I think he completely and utterly missed the point on that one for some unknown reason. There's people that just seem to like stomas and other bits and pieces and like to send you messages for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
Thank God for the read and decline is what I can say.
No, decline. See you later. Not even replying to that one. But, no, I can totally relate. Like with my body confidence, when I first got my stoma, and it was in the June, and it was a couple of weeks after, and it was a gorgeous sunny day. So I was in my mum's back garden with my stoma out. So I tweeted a picture of me with my stoma out. And this guy that used to try and get with me, he actually tweeted afterwards, literally 2 seconds after I put it up the photo, being like, "Oh, seeing someone's stoma bags literally put me off my supper." And I just thought, how? Like, you can't see anything. It's literally just a colostomy bag with a cover on it. You know, how would that put you off? I don't understand. And then I got into this thinking like, well, I guess it's disgusting, but it's not, you know.
Just to completely lower the tone on this one, if I'd have actually posted a video of what I was playing coming out of my stoma and trying to get it all out and into the bag because I had wilted spinach and tomatoes last night, then that would have put you off your supper.
Yeah, exactly. But just putting a picture of me with my stomach out, I just thought, you're shallow. Go away, you know.
Yeah, but do you not think that in this day and age of photoshopping, filters?
Yes, filters, Snapchat filters.
Yeah, in 30 years, all the babies are going to be coming out with bunny ears or doggy ears with the nose.
Yeah, or the little what's the one? There's like a unicorn that's got like a horn or something, and then like if you open your mouth, it comes up like rainbows.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. Snapchat filters. I can't work out how you save it and then post it up. That's why I never do filters. Not because of some sort of like loyal, like I'm going to be real, because I just don't know how to do it.
Rachel, I'm at that age. I don't understand Snapchat.
I don't know. I don't know how to post it up.
I'm gonna have to show you. Like Louise, I could show you in a couple of weeks or whatever. Rachel, I will show you at the ball. Okay.
Okay.
Started.
Or we might do like a YouTube thing. But the only reason I want to use it is because I'm on my double baggers group. I want to do a Snapchat video voice where my voice is changed, going hi. That's the only way I want to just go hi.
Rachel, I'll just send you a tube of helium from Amazon to your address to get the same effect.
A sucker balloon.
Go to McDonald's when they've got the kids' party tags on and just walk out with a couple of their helium balloons and do it that way. It's so much easier than working out how to use Snapchat, man. Oh, I think we've got enough issues with the social media accounts that we have to run as it is.
I would like to say something, and I'm going to be kind of careful what I'm going to say. My mum might be watching. Hi, mum. So my mum, and I don't think she'll mind me saying this. So before the show started, we were nearly 2 years in March, Louise.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 years in March, the show's been going. That's pretty awesome.
I don't know it's been that long, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was one of my drunken vodka nights.
So before the show, my mum has always struggled before, and I would say did, because she doesn't anymore, struggled with my stoma. So when I had the ileostomy, and then when I had the urostomy, and I have to attach to a night bag, my mum always I used to have them on show a little bit. If you've got pajamas and you like don't want to tuck it in, and you got them out like now. I've got pajamas here. It's more comfortable. But my mum thought I was doing it to kind of get attention or response, and she didn't like that I sort of had it there. And we had a bit of an argument one day, but because of the show, I think my mum watched it religiously for like a good year, and she started to realise, and she started to see actually there's much more to it. And my mum's awareness on the subject has been, and that for me, that has been the most magical thing that my mum has accepted. But also I hear she talks to other people, she shares my stuff, she then like helps other people with stomas are calling her, and then she's given information she's heard from the show, and it's really nice that is able to sort of also enlighten her eyes. But I think people with different ages and different whatever, they have their own opinions, and I think when you, even somebody that's close to you, they sort of, if it wasn't for the show, I think it might not have opened up my mum as much as she would have been. And now she gets it, and now my mum's very proud of what I do and all the talks and everything, and it's taken time, but I think this is why it's important to talk about it, because you never know. Joe Bloggs walking down the street could end up with a stoma. The person that was complaining and trolling the other day could emergency have a stoma, whether it's urostomy, ileostomy.
It's called karma, sorry.
But and you never know who might end up with one. That's why we do what we do, and that's why we raise awareness, and that is why when people say, Rachel, why are you sharing pictures with your bags out? Because I'm showing A, awareness, B, that when people get the choice of this option, that there is life after it. Because some people, sometimes don't choose life, and that's really sad. I've seen that happen a lot, and that's really sad. So
I think
that's why I do what I do.
I kept mine a secret for 30 years.
Really?
And I don't know how I done it.
Wow.
I told nobody, none of my close friends knew. When I worked, nobody knew. It was when I was at school, they just told us it's a secret. And I just
were maybe embarrassed or something.
Yeah.
And then round about this time 2 years ago, somebody started coming out of his shell.
Exactly. And Graham, you were probably, and Steve would say the same, and we're going to say the same. You are the result of, like, not just the show. I know it was other groups and other people that helped you, but you have literally gone from not wanting to even tell anybody, show a picture, talk about it, to being on here talking about it, doing a blog, and like that's what makes my heart warm, and that shows this is why we do what we do, because if we help just one person get out of the shell and stuck in that prison or feeling like they're alone, then we have done our job, regardless of the negative feedback we get.
Exactly.
But
it's different. It swings and roundabouts. It's like at home. So you might occasionally see me, like when I do my Instagram posts or my Facebook posts, like there's nothing that sort of beats, especially as a female, running round after sort of 8 p.m. in a pair of crappy old knickers, a baggy t-shirt, and just letting sort of the bag roam free, so to speak.
Just letting it hang out.
Just letting it hang out, because I think having something, and I think this is the only thing that I can never sort of wrap my head around, is the fact that you've got something stuck to you 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
I think you do get some days, I don't know about you guys, but some days, not every day and not all day, just a little period of the day where you come out the shower and you think, oh God, that's stuck to me like all the time. But not like as in like negative, but it's just like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just there. sometimes. It's hard to explain.
I think it's in the summer it really gets me down, and that's why I now have an air conditioning unit in the flat.
I've got my fan on like all the time. Jamie gets so annoyed because I have to sleep with it on. He's like, God's sake, you got that fan on again.
But I think, so body image, and everybody says it's a different person kind of thing, and that it's only you that can exude the confidence to be able to get over whatever stigmas that you face. Do you think that sometimes it probably helps more having friends within the community that you talk to on a regular basis that are the same as you, having friends outside of the community that are like you, that you go to events with and go to dinners with, or WhatsApp until 1 o'clock in the morning because they can't get Bob into their bag?
Oh yeah, sorry, Louise. That was me a couple of nights ago going, Louise, I can't get the prolapse in 3 hours. 3 hours I couldn't get the prolapse in the stoma bag. And that's the problems of a prolapse stoma. Sorry, not everything.
I think my body image has been easier to overcome because not because I'm with Ben, but just because of Ben sort of brings out the best in me rather than the worst. So he doesn't let me sit down and
I do have to say, you two are so lovely together. Like, Ben's a lovely guy, he really is.
Yeah.
So nice.
Sometimes, no, I'm joking. He is most of the time. So it's right. He's not watching. He's watching. He's watching combine harvesters.
He absolutely loves you though, and it's really nice to see. Like, Ben loves the bones off you, and and I know it's both ways, and it's really nice.
I think him being the way he is and not having to deal with a complete and utter asshat has made everything a damn sight easier for me second and third time round. I mean, he doesn't matter. He always tells me I look lovely even if I'm going out in my pajamas and picking him up from work in my pajamas at 6 o'clock in the evening. But he's made it easier, and I think I've got a damn sight more confidence since I've been with him. But I think I've only got more confident the last year or so because there's definitely the sort of like the post I stuck up the other day about learning about loving yourself and body image and stretch marks and swings and roundabouts and that. I don't think I would have posted that a year ago. It's just, I think it just takes time, and I think what's helped me more than anything is because I know it's permanent, and there's sort of no reversing the fact that my butthole is now fused. It's just sort of helped everything be more acceptable and more as the norm. And I don't think I could ever go back to being normal and having normal plumbing because life was just unbearable.
Couldn't go back to life before a bag. No. I mean, I'm quite lucky because obviously Jamie's got a bag. So when we first met, we knew that we both had a bag. And, the same as you, that I don't think I'd be the person I am today if it wasn't for Jamie's support and, both of us having a bag. When we go out places, we're like, okay, right, stoma supplies and, oh, can I borrow yours? And, oh, can I borrow your stuff? We always borrow each other's stoma stuff all the time, don't we?
Steve and I did that a lot as well, and it was like, and it's great when you're going away and going, oh, I've forgotten this, and then it only makes you become a bit complacent. You think, or is usually Steve going, oh, well, wait till I have it packed. But then I go through because obviously I have the urostomy bag, and the amount of times I've forgotten the connectors. And we've had to make out of tubes and little connectors to attach the nightmare. That's the only problem with the night bag. You got to have connectors, but I can't share that with Steve. But the other stuff I can.
Yeah.
So yes, I still have an issue with my body image. Although I've had it most of my life, I've got scars all over my front. I've got scars right down my spine. My spine's sort of, with having scoliosis, it's sort of twisted and bent forward, and I'm conscious of that. I'll not take my top off in public at all, and I'll not even wear shorts in public. I'm that conscious of me body, and I've never been in a relationship because of it.
It makes me really sad.
Makes me very sad as well.
But again, I think it goes back to when I was a child and I said I had to keep it a secret.
But It's difficult to keep things secret. I mean, I've been watching, there was a chap that I was talking to on Twitter for a very long time, and he didn't have the confidence to date anybody after his stoma surgery. And it was only from me sort of pushing him, well, not pushing him, but sort of showing him that life does go on, that he's, you know, he started going on dating sites, and he's met a lovely woman, and he's been with her, I think coming up to a year now. And he says if it wasn't for us guys sort of posting how we post and what we do, then he would, because he thought after having a stoma that nobody was going to love him.
But I think with Graham, I think because Graham, at a very young age, as a young kid, you were told you must keep this secret, you can't tell anybody about it, and to be told that at a really young age, it impacts like a lot deeper than when you sort of it infiltrates into everything, and this kind of the psychology behind it, and it's like I just really feel for you, and I hope now that when children get stomas in this day and age that they do have the support, and it's no longer a taboo to keep it quiet, because it breaks my heart that you've gone through that, and it's affected you now in relationships and kind of everything else, and you know, and that's but thank you for being honest about it, because there may be other people out there that are afraid, that are in a similar boat.
And the fact that I need help with my stomach care, it makes it even harder for us. How would someone cope with that?
But the thing is, I think as well, is that you're such a lovely person. I think that when you do meet the right person, they'll see you for you, and not the outward part. Do you know what I mean? They'll just love everything about you because they like you, you know?
Graham, what holds you back now? Is it purely because of you needing help with the change in the stoma, because you need you need more care? Is that what puts you off?
Yeah, because I'm frightened in case they would think that I'm just looking for a carer, but that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah, but the thing is if you already have carers, it may not necessarily be seen like that.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It really is.
There is lots. There's a new dating website, especially for people with all types of digestional problems. It's called I think you've featured on it.
Let's see.
Yeah, should try that, Graham.
I think Graham, maybe also, like, you know, I don't know, this is an option, this is something I'm actually looking at myself at the moment, is going through counselling myself. I'm kind of around other stuff, but kind of it's something I need to look at. And that's maybe another option, that although it's quite scary, I think sometimes just going into a date, if you're not used to, if you haven't sort of done a relationship before, maybe dating's a bit too big a step, but like small steps, like maybe like talking about it first and talking around it. And sometimes counselling, sometimes we need outside help. It doesn't mean that we're we're not coping. It means that we just need that extra support. And I'm saying this to kind of help myself start this process that I really need to go on.
Elaine's just posted up, and she said that she's not thought about dating since her Crohn's diagnosis because of the symptoms and toilet issues due to embarrassment. Now, back in my single hellfire days, so this is when Louise used to go out every other weekend and go party, I joined Plenty of Fish for single parents, and I did actually put about my Crohn's diagnosis. And by the way, if you take me on a first date and I disappear to the toilet, no, it's not you, it's me. As an introduction on my Plenty of Fish account, because I just couldn't. There's only so many times that you can explain, especially if you're using a dating site as well, and you're talking to. I was talking to more than one person. You have to keep your options open when you're using sites like that. So I did actually put on my Plenty of Fish account that, you know, I've had issues and that I've got Crohn's disease, and, you know, if I'm disappearing to the toilet, it's not you, it's me. Or I am actually trying to climb out the window. In the ladies, I had a lot of curious interest, to be honest. But I always do. But I think I don't think it's me because of my face. I just think because people think I'm a rebel. I don't know. I think I think when you're open about stuff like that, I think if you're being generally open about the whole situation, then they think that you're a bit more real rather than just posting up photos of, don't I look nice in this selfie? I think if you've got a little bit of a story about you and you post something like that up, especially on a dating website, I just think that it probably garners a bit more interest, because one, there's always somebody that knows somebody with Crohn's within their group. They might not have it, but their friends, aunties, uncles, son down the road, around the corner is, and it's just, I don't think dating's any harder when you have a chronic illness. I just think it's very good at weeding out the time wasters.
Oh, definitely lets you see the people that are not worth like giving your time to, like, definitely.
God forbid if I ever ended up single again, I can tell you, because could you imagine what I'd be posting? I'd just be posting up a picture of my stoma, then a bare stoma next to it. So if you want to date with a girl with stoma, this is what a stoma bag looks like. This is what a stoma looks like, and this is what comes out of a stoma.
To be honest, though, isn't it? Definitely.
Well, I had somebody, when I was on Plenty of Fish, I had somebody from the Channel 4 documentary message me about being chronically ill and did I want to take part in their TV show for what it's like trying to use dating websites with somebody when you're ill. And I was like, nah, are you all right? It's bad enough I have to admit that I'm using Plenty of Fish, let alone have it broadcasted thousands of people on Channel 4 at 9 o'clock.
Can I just quickly say that Nathan's done a message for you, Graham, said if you ever need another male to speak to, Graham, you can always I think it's hit me up. I'm not down with the kids. Which is nice. So Nathan has a urostomy, but Graham also has, you've talked about your bladder problems as well, so you might have quite a few in common.
Thank you.
Obviously, Graham, Jamie has a stoma as well, so if you ever do need another male to speak to as well, like, you know, Jamie's quite open, aren't you? You know, because he suffers with body confidence as well. He won't show anybody his stoma bag, really.
He's laying next to you and thinking, whatever I do, say yes, because if I go to sleep and say no, she's going to slap me.
You know what? I think, like, going back to what Rachel said earlier, and obviously with how, you know, this show and, you know, your support has opened up pretty much Graham's life with a stoma.
It was.
The same happened with Jamie. When I first met Jamie, he hadn't a clue what products were for what. You know, he was given what the stoma nurse was given to him, and then that was off he was sent. But when he met me, he said to me, he goes, you know, like, you've really helped me. And I thought, so glad I've done something, you know. And he reads every single one of my blogs and, you know, everything. It's great.
I help my mum's old dears with a stoma. She comes and nicks all my freebies and takes them round to her old dears.
Oh, the freebies is the best part. I love the freebies. They're good.
Yeah, my mum, I've gone into my drawer before, my mum's come over and I'm like, where are all my wet wipes? And she's taken me last pack because her old dears went out of dry wipes. I'm like, thanks, Mum.
She wants wet wipes, she can have ours. We don't use ours, do we? We donate them, so if she wants them, she can have them.
I don't know if you've noticed, does anybody use Bullens? They've changed the dry wipes.
No.
Like they've gone from one material and they've gone to another material. No, whatever. Like when you open the pack, you just end up with white fluffy bits everywhere, all over the bed.
No.
Might have to change. Might have to change and
I changed,
see what other dry wipes are like. But I think so. I mean, Rachel, with body image, is your body image better now with your stomas than what it was before your stomas? During after refashions?
I think it isn't as simple as this. I think it's like this, and it goes through stages. And I would say that my body confidence right now is far better than it was before my stomas. However, when I first got my one stoma, then I got second. Actually, when I got my second and got rid of the suprapubic catheter, my body image got better. It helped because I felt like I was balanced on both sides with the two bags, and things were. But because I had the added complication with the hernia and the prolapse, I've had to work a lot around that, and that isn't, even though I've got them, doesn't mean that my body, you know, I still love my body, I still show respect for it and things like that. So I would say my body confidence is better, but it isn't always 100% good. You know, as I said this week, the prolapse has been a particular pain. and now it's out so big now, and it makes me feel like not good to myself. But I try to not focus on that, and I try to just see, actually, try and find the small bits of gratitude, to not stay in the kind of poor me cycle, which I used to do a lot, and I try not to stay in that, because it's not a good place mentally for me, and so that's what I find that gratitude when I'm really struggling, and when I think my life's crap, I do a gratitude list at night of 3 things I'm grateful for. And when I first got my second stoma, I realised that soon the stomas kept coming out, because I thought I wouldn't be alive if I didn't have them. And then it was like stoma. I would go out, and then I thought, and that's how acceptance happened for me.
Well, my body confidence, especially my body image, has been up and down like a freaking yo-yo over the years. I've gone from having a stoma and open wound to having no stoma and a flat stomach but loads of stretch marks. I've gone then from having more open wounds on my tummy to then going back to having a stoma, and then I had 2 hernias with that, and it swings and roundabouts. I'm only so about a bloody eyelid. I could walk around with my bag out, and he's just like, "You all right?" He always looks at my eyes.
I'm the same, really.
or anything that's sort of like chest height. But I think some of the things that we've got to remember is it's like having imperfections makes us human. There might look like there are some flawless bastards out there with the way they look.
That is Photoshop, love.
and their bodies. But you got to think about it. Every single imperfection that we may have is cute, lovable, weird. It's quirky, and above all else, it makes us who we are. So having a stoma bag shouldn't define you. At the end of the day, a stoma for many of us, like everybody says, apart from Rachel when she struggles with her prolapse, is improved our quality of life. It's meant that we've been able to, live life. And yeah, all right, we might have different toilet habits, but that shouldn't define us as to who we are. For the majority of us, having the stomas has given us a new lease of life. Jesus, Rachel, a couple of years ago, she wouldn't have done half of what she's doing now. And now she's like the public face of urostomy and ileostomies worldwide.
I never left Bournemouth for years. It's only been the last 2 years have I actually left, and now I'm hardly at home. I'm travelling all around, but it's lovely, and it's nice. And I think I would never have done this without my stomas. But I just like to say what we just talked about. For me, I think the phrase is like, we're perfectly imperfect. That's regarding we have stomas or not. We are perfectly imperfect, and when we strive for perfection, it's not there, and we have imperfections, and that makes us perfect in our own right. So I hold on to that.
Each one of us are unique.
Exactly.
Definitely. We've all got our own little stories, don't we?
We do.
We all might have the same stoma or, same condition, but our stories are so different. That's what makes us who we are.
Or you could be just like me, which is a bag of frogs crazy.
That's gone very quickly tonight. I can't believe it. I thought I'm so tired. We're going to struggle. That's gone quite quickly. Thank you for everybody that's responded on chat. We've had really great discussions and really great comments. So thank you very much. If you've got any suggestions, what I want to cover next week, not next week, the week after, isn't it, Louise? Yeah, the week after.
It is the week after. I won't be doing it next weekend. I'm on social media strike doing bugger all, and I'm laying in bed and reading my Fire and Blood book. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I got tickets for Tenacious D. Tenacious D is a one-off at Wembley in June, and I got tickets.
I also want tickets to go. So I'm just going to go, woo!
You don't know who Tenacious D are?
No, I don't.
I can't. No.
Steve will be educating you because he's really jealous.
We're gonna have to educate you, Alana.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll send you some YouTube videos later.
So yeah, we will be back in 2 weeks. I don't actually know what we're doing yet. That idea will come to me normally the night before. So I'd like to say a big thank you to Graham to coming on and starting at the beginning and going to me last night. Yeah, sure, not a problem. Big thank you to Alana for dropping in halfway through. You kept the conversation going, so that's great for us.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Rachel as well, because she's not been well and she is yet again a massive trooper and comes
I
on
think she's a superstar, to be honest.
and helps. I've just had a comment from Fiona saying she's gutted. She wants to go and see Tenacious D.
I don't know.
And also, I think we need to thank you, Louise. We need to thank you, because I think without you, we wouldn't have had the show, because we wouldn't have had it, and without you, it wouldn't have continued. So I think we
thank the bottle of Smirnoff.
We should also thank you.
And I'll buy you a drink at the weekend when I see you.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know, because obviously I'm driving up to Redditch obviously the night before, so I'll see you the night before. Okay, so I'd like to say thank you to everybody for watching. I say a big hello and goodbye to Nathan, because I think Nathan is new on the chat. I think it's the first time he's tuned in.
That has a urostomy. Yes,
that has a urostomy. There's one for the team. A big obviously thank you to everybody else. And just to comment, Livy said that Bullens, they have changed the wipes. So big hello to Livy, because I don't think I've seen you on the chat before. A hi and bye to Fiona, but I shall be abusing your WhatsApp in about 15 minutes once I've had my green tea. So I'd like to say thank you to everyone for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and it's over and out for us. So bye.
Bye.